Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to interview Adam Warren, a program director at Appalachian State University's branch of College Advising Corps. Today, we're talking about application tips for high school seniors. Adam, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackson, for having me. I appreciate it.
So, what are some of the important college admissions deadlines that seniors should be aware of?
Definitely. So if you think about the college application timeline, it really starts obviously a lot earlier than your senior year. So a lot of those college list making opportunities, building out where you're planning on going, a lot of those conversations can happen in your junior year. And by senior year, you really want to know some of the colleges that you've decided on. You can still make some of those decisions during the first couple of months of that senior year, but you kind of want to get yourself ready to have your applications good to go. So what I would do is pay attention to the month of October and the month of November as big time. I've got to have my application materials ready to go then. A lot of institutions have early action or early decision, and we'll discuss those a little bit more in depth in a second. But some of those deadlines are a little bit earlier in the process. Here in the state of North Carolina, the earliest deadline we have for a college is October 15th. Most of our institutions, to kind of get in and be in that first run of applications, you're looking at November 1st or November 15th. So those 2 months are really important in terms of getting all your materials ready to go and out to the colleges. Keeping in mind all of the admissions process, it's much more than just the application, because you also want to consider who would my references be, all of that lovely stuff, and for your teachers at high school. So you might even want to map out in the month of August, the month of September, who do I need to ask to do those types of things? What does my resume need to look like? And a bunch of those processes before you even get to that college official deadline. For most colleges, January 1 is going to be kind of a good time to look at. I have to have all of my stuff done there. And then for our students who are considering two-year institutions at the community college level, you don't want to just wait and then sign up for classes come the fall, even though you may have that opportunity. By doing an admission process or letting them know you want to apply there, you may have more opportunity to make connections to the school, as well as more financial aid opportunity once that comes around.
Great. So you just brought up financial aid. Are there any important FAFSA deadlines that students should be aware of?
Most definitely. So the FAFSA opens up on October 1st, and you don't have to have it done by October 1st, but the way financial aid works is you have this big giant pot of money that the federal government has, and then each state has a pot of money as well. If you qualify for federal funds, they're not really going to run out of that money. But the state money that each state has, and that state institutions, if you're applying to, for example, here in the state of North Carolina, we have 16 public institutions. If you apply to one of those public institutions, they can tap into the state grant pot of money. So if I've put my application in and I've done my FAFSA and I have done it early enough, then my financial aid at UNC Chapel Hill or at NC State, they may be able to pull some money out of that state grant pot that can come to me. That pot's going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller depending on when you have filled out your FAFSA and what that looks like. So if I wait to fill my FAFSA out by March, then that state grant pot of money might be empty at that stage. So if you're thinking about it in those lines, the earlier the better. So definitely October 1 is when it opens. The earlier you can get your FAFSA information in, the better. Once again, FAFSA, for those who are unaware, is the free application for federal and state aid. FAFSA is something that is, on the face of it, looks like a lot to do, but at the end of the day is one of the quickest things that you can do to help set yourself up for financial success in college and making sure that you have access to federal funds, state funds, and many institutions require you have a FAFSA on file before they can build a financial aid package for the student as well. So definitely the earlier you can get on that, the better.
Okay, great. So throughout the college application process for students, if they aren't sure of a date, there's some uncertainty there, who can they reach out to for clarification? Can they reach out to officers at universities?
Of course. For our program, CAC, what we do is we place recent college grads in high schools, and they can work as a liaison for that. If you have an advisor in your school, reach out to them to help you make that connection with your college. If you don't have an advisor in your school, reach out to a counselor or a trusted teacher and see if they can help you make that connection. But college admissions counselors are there for students. They want to talk with you. They want you to be calling them. I like the phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You want to be squeaky. So if you're squeaky and you call them, they're going to call you back. They're going to communicate with you. That's their job. They want to be moving and talking and getting out. We're in a COVID year. This is 2020 right now. And in this year, admissions counselors can't travel as much as they'd like. So they want to be interacting with students more than anything else right now. They want to have students call them, email them, communicate with them. I know sometimes it's difficult for folks to pick up the phone and make a phone call, but phones, there's a lot of value in calling up the admissions counselor, asking those direct questions. There are no dumb questions that you can ask an admissions counselor. They've heard all the questions, and if you are thinking, I don't know if I should ask this, it's probably somewhere on the website. It might be. Ask the admissions counselor anyway. They want to help you navigate that thing. Sometimes websites are easy to use, sometimes they're not. So, but definitely reach out. You can typically find who your admissions counselor is if you go to the admissions website for an institution. You just type in, look it up, and they'll have either specific county by county breakdown if you're looking at an in-state school, or they might have just a general regional breakdown as well. But anyone you call in that office can connect you to the right person.
So now speaking about the specific application, a lot of times what students put on their applications is what separates them from other equally qualified candidates. So essentially they have to sell themselves to colleges on their application. So do you have any advice, some ways that students can improve their applications?
Sure. I would say give a lot of credence to the essay. They do get read. They are a big part of the review process. And so you want to make sure that your essay, you've given some thought to it, and it's not necessarily a cookie cutter essay. So pay attention to the questions that are being asked just as much as the way you're writing it. Most institutions, they want to hear the context of what you're saying. Grammar and punctuation are important, but I would focus even more so on what it is that I'm saying and pull in several folks into that conversation with you. Have a parent or guardian read that, have your guidance counselor read it, have your senior English teacher read it. They would love to do that. You pull them into that conversation. They wrote a college essay at some point many years ago, maybe recently, but they would love to be a part of that process with you. So give a lot of credence to the essay. Also, your resume. Most institutions are asking you to build out a resume. You might be thinking, I'm 18, I maybe have had one job, or maybe I've just been on the football team. You've just been on a team. There's a lot that you can say there. So go connect back with your counselor. Think about how you can reformulate those ways of saying I was involved in this. Do a quick Google search for power words on a resume. There's a whole list of words that you can use and say, I evaluated, I did this, and that really makes you kind of stand out a little bit more. And the admissions team, when they review your essay and they review your resume, can say they put a lot of time and effort into this, and this is going to be the type of student we want. Colleges are looking for students who are going to be successful when they're there and who are also going to be involved. So they want to see more than just your grades. They want to see a picture of you, the student, who's going to come to the campus and either create a legacy, make something that lasts, or generally just be involved. Colleges are heavily invested in the regions in which they live. So if you have had service opportunities through a church organization, a community service organization, something like that, definitely list that and make that a theme in there that they can see this person's going to come there. They're not going to sit in their dorm all day, just show up to class and go back to their dorm. They're going to be involved. They're going to get out. They're going to make waves on our campus and be fully invested here at whatever institution you decide to go to.
Great. So you brought up early action and early decision earlier. Can you explain what those are, and can you explain the potential benefits of both paths?
Sure. So I always have to look this up once again myself with the early action and early decision piece. So the early action and early decision are two ways that you can make the college application process happen sometimes faster for you. So early decision means that you are saying to one institution, and you could do early decision at a few, where you say, if you allow me to apply and they say yes to you, you're deciding early on. Let me walk that back just a second. So early decision would be where I say to an institution, I'll use Appalachian State for an example. I'm going to say to Appalachian State, I want to apply here through early decision. If you let me know by December that yes, I'm into App State, then I'm in and I'm good. So that means the decision is already there for you. Early action is that you're applying and the institution is going to take action on your application early in the process. So instead of getting your acceptance letter or a deferral letter, you would get that letter much earlier in the process. So that would help you drive your personal decision so that you can see where you might want to go. So early action means you still have choice. Early decision means you're applying to one institution, and if you get in, you're into that institution.
Thanks again, Adam, for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And for more interviews like this, please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.